Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see.
morning, good morning, good morning to you. I'm singing again today. That's 2 days in a row. Must be something in the air or the water, depending on where you live. But you know what? I don't care how it got here. I'm glad it's here. I'm telling you. I don't know about you, but I, for one, know that I have lived enough already of the ooh, poor me, all that down. Remember when you couldn't get out of bed? You were so down. Remember when you thought you weren't going to pay your bills on time? Remember? Yeah. And it's a good thing that we can, because that is what drives me every day to get here. And you to get to wherever it is you need to go every day in order to ease some form of suffering in this world. Can I get an amen? It was worth it. It was worth it. It was worth it. Welcome to today's installment, you guys, of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Dr. Lauren, and I'm so excited for today's guest. You know, we see a lot of authors this and that, but for real, today, you're going to get a real treat. Seriously. I'm not kidding. And you know how I know? I'm not trying to take anything from anybody else. That's why, to keep it real, I wrote that book with my first coach about how to get speaking gigs fast, but like real books. I'm going to wait until I can do it like this. Seriously. Because I'm going to just keep it real. Seriously. I'm going to keep it real. I don't want to end up, nothing against anybody else. But you know, a lot of people, they write their books, but then you don't do anything with it. You don't do anything with it. I don't want to go to luncheons and say, introduce my book all the time, and then have boxes of them in my basement. If you're going to write your story, you already lived the hard part. Write it, do it right, get it to where it was intended to go. That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking anything from anybody else, but I'm just saying, you know. So today, I just want you to not miss this opportunity. If you really want your story to be around for people to find for ever, then listen up. Okay, so who is this that I'm building up this big old emotional intro for? Well, her name is A.G. Billig, and I met her a while back. She's incredible. She's from Romania, and wait till you hear what she's going to do for the Power of We Symposium. I love this partnership, and I love when I meet people with that servant heart. And when she told me she was from Romania, I was like, you know, because you know when you think a blessing is finished, we went there, it's over, it's almost been a year in May. Look, today's guest is proof that blessings never end. They just keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. So come on today. You guys, it's the first time for her to be here. Hopefully not the last time, but you know what we do. We get to our feet virtually. How do we do that? By throwing some hearts up on the screen. They're free and painless, and they feel so, so good. Do some right now, because here she comes. Here comes AG. Good morning.
Hi.
How are you, AG?
Wow. Thank you so much. What a wonderful introduction. And what a wonderful video for the show. It totally uplifted me. Life is
the
beautiful,
intro?
people. Thank
Aw.
you.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you for that. Oh, there's the bell of purpose. She goes, ooh, and I almost forget. Don't forget to say good morning to my sidekick, Miss Lucy McGillicuddy.
Yay.
Listen, I just right off the top got to say this. You know, you have your initials AG. I love the name AG. Say your last name.
Billig.
Billig.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
you got to think about it.
Billig.
B-League, like you play on the B-League. Okay, got it. Now, I want to ask you something.
Sure.
Wait a minute. Reframe. I'm going to come from a different direction. Okay. Well, first things first. Let me leave for about 60 seconds so you can get your own vibe going with everybody before it becomes all interviewee.
Right.
You know, just make your own connection. I let people do that. I love to watch that. And then I'll come back and we'll officially get started. I think that's what we should do. Okay. All you, tell them what you want them to know.
Hey, happy Thursday, actually. It's happy Thursday. So my name is A.G. Billig. I'm a best-selling author. I'm also a motivational speaker. I'm the founder of the award-winning educational center Self-Publishing Mastery, and also the founder of the Project of Love. So I love writing. I love sharing a message of love with people, and I love to be of service. And I'm bringing this message to you from Sedona, Arizona.
That's where my coaching client, Robert A. Lane, I told you that. I need to
Yeah, yeah,
introduce
you
you
mentioned
to.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Sedona, in and
yeah.
of itself, is such a healing spot. Tell people about Sedona. A lot of people aren't up on it. They think it's a pretty vacation spot, but
Yeah.
it's magical. It really is. Tell them a little bit about that.
It is a magical place. I first came here visiting in 2017, and the nature is absolutely stunning. And um, what I would recommend if you decide to visit, certainly not during July, August, because then it gets really, really hot.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But I'm blessed to live close to the trails, so I literally step outside my house and I'm in nature, which is such a blessing. But what I see is that when people come here, many of them, they bring the city with them. So they bring the loud stuff and the loud music and the loud conversations. And nature is such a beautiful place for you to just recharge and reconnect with your heart and with your soul. So I guess the best way to experience Sedona or any other natural park, because there are so many beautiful natural parks and state parks in this country, is just to at least take one day where you just sit with nature and you are fully present and you are
Yeah,
silent and you just take in everything, because there is so much to take in, really.
I
um
agree. I agree. I was sitting here, sorry, I was kind of dazing off because I love Sedona. Used to go there all the time when I was stationed in Phoenix. It was a great getaway.
yeah,
Very healing. Lot of spiritualism there. And I love when you come into town, that church with that big cross on it, when it's
yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
love it. So look, excuse me, I want to go here. Well, first of all, when did you start writing? What age did you? I mean, like really writing?
Really, really, it was
Yeah.
early. It was really early. So I think I was about 9 years old. I grew up in a family who loved to read. Both my parents were avid readers, so we had a house packed with books. And I remember, my father would or my mom would read me bedtime stories, but I couldn't wait to be able to read myself, so I can read whatever I wanted, to pick whatever book I wanted from the bookshelf.
Yes, yes.
And then I learned how to write. And then we had this in elementary school, we had this kind of Romanian language, because as you mentioned, I'm Romanian. So we had the
Yes.
Romanian language classes, and then we were supposed to write short compositions, and that's how it all started. And actually my father, he was my first editor and publisher, because I didn't have a computer back in the day, so I would long handwriting. I would use that. So he would typewrite my stories on a typing machine,
Okay.
to take them to a binder. And so my first 4 books were actually published by my father.
So wait, you said a typing machine.
Yeah, there
Is
was
that what
a
they call it there? What about
machine.
typewriter? Did you guys ever
Typewriter.
call it
Yeah,
typewriter?
yeah.
Okay,
Typewriter.
same thing.
Yeah,
I love those little things.
yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, okay. Keep
But
going.
he had one of those, like, all clunky ones. Like, I don't know where he got it, but he kind of got it somewhere, and he was really good. And then I wrote my first novel at 15. That happened in the like late 90s, and so that was post-communist Romania. However, no publisher wanted to take a chance on a teenager, and because I
Right.
guess they didn't know how to market the book, so that never got published. But then it was in 2012 when officially I became an author, and I had this short story collection. It's called Four Doors and Other Stories,
I saw
which
that.
was published by an English publisher, MP Publishing from the UK. And that happened while I was still, living and breathing in Romania. That was like, really, what is going on here? So this is a path I'd better pursue it,
Yeah.
because it will lead on
You
to
felt
something.
it. Let's go back to that first book. that the 15-year-old girl wrote, because I love the question that it pushed out of me. I wasn't being rude and not listening. I was actually writing it down exactly like I heard it. I love this question. So, and I really want to know, I wonder what that means, because I believe a lot of people have books that are still in them.
Yeah.
I think they have books that they've written or have pieces on a disc or a typed up manuscript. So my question is, if a book is not published, is it still a book?
Wow, that's $1 million question.
I know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it defines. I know. I don't know. I don't think it's a book. I think it's a manuscript, because if we think in terms of the market and what a book entices, a book is actually a product. And I know it sounds very
right,
materialistic, but at the end of the day, this is what it is.
Now, why I think that's important, AG, not to cut you off, but why I think that's really important? Because maybe if we saw it or visualized it the way it actually is, we might do better with what it is we have.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So when you've written something, or you say, oh, I've written a book and it's just sitting there. No, I've written a manuscript.
Right.
The minute it's published, now you get to ring the bell. Hey, it's now out of the cocoon. It is now a butterfly known as my book.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go here next. So now you get the book. Here's the big intersection that always gets me. Is what do you do with it? How much do you need to know going in when you write when you put pen to paper or the keys to fingers to keys? How much should you plan ahead to what you're going to do with it when you get it, so it doesn't get all moldy and stale and just sit there?
Yeah, or it's somewhere on Amazon at 3 million ranking, meaning that nobody's buying it.
Right.
Well, I mentioned self-publishing mastery in the introduction that you so kindly allowed me to do. So I've been working with authors for, I think, over 7 years now to help them to market and self-publish their books. And I also self-published some of my books, because I think that, it depends where you are. I mean, I think if you're a coach, if you're an entrepreneur, I think a book is a great way for you to build credibility and authority, and also start a sales funnel. And those of you who are in this field, you know what I'm talking about. But also, if you're just a very good storyteller, then you're going to write a fiction book that is going to delight people, and then that could be, oh, thank you. So a book that could be even turned into a movie. But what I've noticed with many of the authors I worked with is that they wait for the book to go live, even if it's with a publisher, because this is a big conversation. I mean, you can have a traditional publisher, or you can self-publish. And then once the book is up there on Amazon, they go like, oh, the book is there. Why is nobody buying it? Because nobody knows that the book is there. So the process of promoting the book, this is what it takes for people to know that your book even exists, starts way before the book gets out there, because you need time, especially if you're just starting out. You need time to build that audience. So you need time to find the right readers for you who are going to want to read your book. And then once you find them, you need to build that excitement and anticipation. Oh, this book is coming out and this is so wonderful and I want to read it. And you need to garner some social proof, meaning that you need to send some copies of your book well in advance for people to read the book and write the reviews. Because again, when you're Stephen King, I mean, people will buy your book no matter what. But when you're just starting out, someone to put their dollar into and your time into your book, they need to have some sort of reassurance, and that's where the reviews come in.
Right.
So these are skills that someone who doesn't have a background in marketing and PR, which I do, needs to learn. And there are many courses out there on the internet. I have courses as well. There are coaches who can
Yeah.
lead you through the process so that you don't have to spend hours and hours going down the rabbit hole, because that's
Right.
the other thing. We are getting inundated with so much information that it's hard to
Exactly.
discern.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Did I answer the question?
You did.
All
Now,
right.
I want to bring out some things that people don't traditionally hear today, because we're kind of, you got in, you came to the Power of We swimming pool and have jumped in with so many others from around the world who have found their way to us, which is speaks volumes to the work you do, because not just anything can fit in like inside the yolk of the egg, which is this brand, the Power of We, with these kids. And your idea about this book was a no-brainer. It was instantaneous. So I know you're anointed. So let's go to this book we're looking at. I stopped right there. I scrolled through all of the offerings, but let's go to this. This little medallion thing up in the left corner of that book.
Reader. Okay.
Well, tell us about how books end up getting these types of awards.
Well, that's social proof again. So when you get that, that's a big platform. The name is Reader's Favorite. So they run an yearly competition on multiple genres, and you can submit your book, and then if you win an award, then you're going to you get the number one, not number one, but the gold award, and you're invited to their show in Miami. And then what I have there is I submitted the book for a review, and I got a 5-star review from them. So I put it on the cover because it lets people know this is a valuable read. So it's about, I think there are 2 steps involved here. The first step is to create a product, and again, that's what a book is at the end of the day. I know all the sweat and tears and creativity that goes into a book. Yeah, that's the art. But then when it goes out, if that art is going to be seen, then the book is actually a product. So like any product, it needs to be marketed in the right way. And part of the marketing, because that's another thing, people, when they think about marketing, they think about, promotion. No, marketing is also packaging. So the cover is the packaging. The content is also part of the marketing. So you need to have a good cover that speaks to your audience, and then
let's talk about that. That's exactly where I wanted to go next, because look, that was perfect. Thank you. And great segue. I'm looking at how every one of these books looks like a different experience,
because they are different experiences.
I know. I know, and that's what I'm trying to point out to you, because this is the deal. Here's my question behind that. A lot of people think that when it means self-published, that okay, I'm just going to go to Fiverr. Nothing against you, Fiverr. My best friends have come from Fiverr. Right? But I feel like what I use. I'm just saying, for me, I like Fiverr. I met great people there for the logos and memes and things like that. But when it comes to the concept of your book, is that necessarily the best way to go, or is there a better way, in your opinion?
Well, I love the you use the word concept, because it ties into a topic that's very close to my heart, which is branding. Because when there are many self-published books that are very poor. I have to admit that. But then there are authors there who are really, really serious and dedicated to their craft and to their career. So what they put out, it is at least traditional publishing level. So if you feel that this is your calling in life, and if you feel like you want to build a career as an author, and you want to go this self-publishing route, then you're basically what you are. You are not only an author, you are an entrepreneur. So you're actually building a business, you're building a career. And like any business, any career, you need to invest in it in the beginning before it will, give you the return on investment that you expect. So in your first book, you can always go back and you redo covers, and I've done this with people. But why not get it right from from the very beginning?
Beginning.
So if
Okay.
you're on a shoestring budget, the thing that you want to get right at least are the cover, and then the editing. So you
the
want to
editing.
have a manuscript that
Let's
flows, that
let's
is.
sit on the cover for a second.
Mhm.
Let's sit on the cover for a second. Let's take the example of, because here's the thing. Let's talk. I want you to walk people through the layers of the paint strip, if you will, or the some people could use the onion analogy.
All right.
But so how you should, for instance, let's use "Open Your Heart, Rise in Love" as an example.
All
now
right.
you didn't just say, "Oh, look, there's a stock photo of a black guy and what appears to be a brown-skinned woman, could be from a multitude of different races.
Yeah.
They're together, so we're assuming they're a romantic relationship. She's leaning, her head is leaning in, means something. His straightness of his spine and proudness of his neck and everything means something. And so talk about how they got there.
Well,
How many
I
concepts? Wait, here's the best part of the question.
Yes.
How many concepts, if you could put a number on it, would you say you had to audition before these two got the job?
Well, I want to make it clear that I'm not a book cover designer. I have a team, so I always work
but
with
they
people.
they don't tell you what goes on here.
So typically, when when I work with a designer, even for my clients, there is a creative brief involved, and the creative brief. So you as an author, you need to be very, very specific about who your target audience is, what elements should go on the cover, and that also includes a logo. Let's say you have a logo.
Wait a minute, but what about this part? Is there a message too? Do you have images that say something that the title doesn't?
Yeah. So I was going to get that. And then the image has to, it doesn't have to say exactly what the title says, because then it becomes redundant. But then, obviously the image has to be consistent with the message of the image. It has to be consistent with the message of the book, with the title as well, and speak to the book genre and to speak to the book audience. So typically, so I went through like 5 concepts for this cover. This guy's really gifted, the one who did this cover, and
how did you know this was the right one?
I think that, just as you point, and you see, it was the right one, because you saw every little detail that captivated my attention. Because, first of all, love is all inclusive. So, and nowadays also we see, and this book, it is about romantic love, actually, and it is mainly for women, and it's about, changing the way you look at the world and the relationship at yourself, and opening your heart, and that's how you make your relationship better. It's not about pointing your finger at your partner and saying, "Oh, you should change." No, you change first, and then everything around you changes. And then there is and I love that nowadays, I see so many people who go beyond the color of their skin and their ethnicity and come together as couples, because that shows us, how we evolved over time. So I thought that this cover was.
I love it.
And it's also, simple and elegant. I don't like covers that, especially, for nonfiction, that are very, you don't have to have many elements. You have to have simplicity.
Right. It's like words. I remember one time I was in a courtroom, and the judge had a plaque underneath her bench that said, "The truth requires few words."
Mm-hmm.
And so there it is. Don't clutter it up, folks. So now I want to ask a couple questions about the book below, because it's intriguing, because I think this qualifies as short stories.
Yes.
Okay. Why don't more people write short stories? I used to love to reach for books that were filled with short stories, because it just kept changing. You go to 1,000 places, but you don't really hear many people writing books on short stories. So let's talk about that. How do you know when you have a short story book in you?
but I think you just know, and to answer your question, I think there is a, and you would wonder, right? Because we hear all these stories, and we hear all these articles about how short our attention span is nowadays. So you would think that people would write short stories more, but apparently there is also a misconception, sorry, saying that people don't read short stories anymore. So
I would.
I would too, and I've read. I got my hands on a book by Jojo Moyes, short stories. It was so adorable. Life Before Paris. That's the title of the book. I totally recommend it. It's adorable. She's an amazing short story writer. Um, but I think you just know and I knew when I that was my that was the book that was published in 2012 that jump started my career
Yeah.
basically. But I knew that's what I wanted to write. I knew I wanted to write 20 stories about love.
So let me ask you, 4 doors. So
Yeah.
you have to, and then we read just and other stories. The other stories, we're getting a hint to what they're about because of 4 doors. So it kind of sounds like mystery,
Yeah, well,
opportunity, adventure. What is it? What does 4 doors lead us into?
well, so Four Doors is the title of one of the stories, and that story was actually inspired by a past life regression, which I did.
Wow.
And I was in a hallway with four different doors, and each door led me to a different lifetime. And then
Ooh, that would
yeah,
be a good show, a good movie.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so the stories in the book are, as I said, about love. The way I look at love is a state of consciousness, a frequency and vibration. So
Yeah.
they portray this state of consciousness in different ways.
Uh-huh.
But if you are familiar with Gabriel Garcia Marquez, he writes magical realism. So the stories are more like he's writing like magical realism, because reality as the way we perceive it with our five senses actually is imbued with some magic. And I have a short story about a little boy who during the day he goes with his parents to the zoo and sees this elephant and loves the elephant, and he plans that at night when his parents are asleep he's going to sneak out the house and go back to see the elephant, but he falls asleep, and then in his sleep he's at the circus and meets the elephant again. So there are many I get the goosebumps. It was just a download. It's every story just came to me.
Uh-huh. So let me ask you this. So we're changing it up here. We're getting ready to pivot a little bit.
All
So
right.
what would you say is the most surprising thing about you? The thing that you tell people, they finally go, what? Like, do I cook Chinese food 5 days a week.
Other than I'm Romanian. I
You're Romanian?
Well, I don't know if you can tell, but I dance salsa. I won bronze medal in a ballroom
Well, that explains
dancing.
this.
Oh my god!
Because we were like, okay, where'd those abs come from? Oh my goodness.
I teach. I lead a really I have a really healthy lifestyle, and I love exercises. So I'm just like you. I go to the gym, but I teach. I teach here at the Snap Fitness in Sedona. I teach one class a week.
That's
So
awesome.
that's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So can we talk about the highway of inspiration?
Oh, I love that.
Some people refer to it as a muse, or where does it come from? So I always see it like a highway, and I can hear it coming before I can see it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you can hear a truck in the distance moving towards you. Right. What's it like for you? And do you have a way of helping other aspiring or authors who need a little cranking up to get it moving? Do you have a way of helping them find that highway for themselves?
Okay, let's start with me. Meditation for me is is part of the highway, because that helps me to still my mind. My mind is very busy because I get ideas all the time. I like to create things not just on paper but in real life, like projects and businesses and all that.
How often do you meditate?
Every morning.
Every morning? How
Yeah.
long? Because I'm learning it. I mean, I went to get trained by Sandra Chopra's wife.
Oh,
Yeah, and but I'm not as I got to get better with my consistency. How long do you do it every morning?
for about 15 minutes.
15 minutes. And
15.
what is it about it that makes you just cannot live without it?
Well, it's because we are right. We are the mind. We are the body. We are the heart. But most importantly, we are the spirit. We are the soul. That divine spark, which is in each and every one of us.
Right.
And the thing is that, and that's where the highway is. And the thing is that we get so distracted with our everyday life that sometimes we forget that we are that soul, and we disconnect from it. So in meditation, that's where you come back to yourself, because that's your real self. You come back to your soul, and that's where the wisdom is. That's where daily grounding, exactly. That's where the wisdom is. That's where the love is. That's where the creativity is. That's where the expansion is. That's where the inspiration is. So to be able to bring into the world those ideas, and you know what they say? They say that, I don't know who said it. I don't know if it was Einstein, but maybe not. I can't remember. But somebody said, oh, all the ideas are there in the quantum field. Basically, you're just connecting with one idea, and then you're bringing it into the world, and you give it some sort of voice or shape or color. So to be able to be in that space where you create something that's going to endure the test of time, that's going to touch people's hearts, that's going to create a legacy, you need to come back to your soul. And meditation is part of that, because when you focus on that, like, okay, no, I'm going to just be completely still. I'm going to be still. And thoughts are still going to show up, and you just watch them as a witness. You just let them go.
Yeah.
And then you know that you touched your soul. You know that you're there when you feel that immense joy and love. That's when you know that when you're in your soul. And there is no reason supposedly in that moment to feel that elated, but that's where we are soul. And then these ideas, and I think it has to be an intention as well.
It is.
My intention is
this. You said it exactly as it was moving through the fields of my mind.
Yeah.
Seriously, because this is why I really believe that imagery to drive anything is important. You must see that's the truth. For me, that's the true setting of the intention.
Yeah.
Because like when you were describing that place, I know sometimes for me, it feels like I go to the pool of inspiration and I just sit on the side and let my pants are rolled up to the knees. And it's good enough just to hang my feet in the water. But then sometimes I need to go all the way in and slowly go under and be completely submerged and baptized. So it's just been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful place. That's why I say the things that I believe we should strive for, not things we can touch, that house, that car, that jewelry, that book itself, but spend your journey seeking those things you can feel. And when you go into your purpose and you go into your inspiration, you can feel joy, you can feel peace. So I really believe those are places.
Yeah. And I don't think, I mean, at least in my experience, nothing in my life, not even being a person, nothing gives me that joy and that, as you said, peace as when I'm not connect because I'm my soul, but when I'm there,
present.
I'm there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a dance. It's really, really wonderful. It's everything wonderful at once. I always say that. It's everything wonderful at once. And if people say, well, what's it feel like? I remember one time somebody asked me, what it felt. And I said, if I had to name it, I would call it Everybody Ought to Have One. You know what I mean? Whatever that is that we're trying to explain, everybody ought to have one.
Yeah.
And I think we do. I think we do. So let me ask you this. Let's go here. Have you ever experienced writer's block? And what is that? And how do you have any tips for our aspiring authors on how to get beyond it?
Well, that's, the writer's block. I remember when I was working on this short story collection, writer's block I believe they come from a disconnect from the soul, from the highway. You step on the shoulder, and then you're out of that, and okay, what's going on?
Oh, so you're not in alignment.
You're not in alignment.
Like
exactly.
when your vehicle's shaking all over, you can't pulling it.
Yeah. And also beliefs. Like I have this belief that, I was born at 9:30 in the morning. So I'm a morning person. My mind is clear in the morning. So typically all the creative stuff I do, which involves writing, I prefer to do it in the morning. And so I have this idea that if I don't do it in the morning, I'm not going to be able to do it. And I remember I was working on this short story collection, creating it, bringing it to the world. I knew I was going to the London Book Fair to pitch this to a literary agent. And I woke up late. I don't know, something happened in my house back in Romania, and it was already 11:30 in the morning. I was like, oh, I can write. Oh, and I was so upset with myself. But then I said, okay, just chill. So I remember I sat on the couch with my laptop, in my lap. And I was like, okay, let's pretend now. Just play, just have fun. Just let your imagination loose. And then I got this idea of, like, oh, what if I shrank to the size of a tiny, a person that would fit into an envelope, and then the envelope would be put into the mailbox. And so that just, the fact that I was able to overcome that limiting belief, helped unleash my creativity. And I wrote a whole story in about a couple of hours. So the writer's block, I think, is an illusion of the mind. And
got it.
When it's there, I think when you feel like, and it's also like this muse, you can write for hours and hours. At some point, it's like you have a cup full of tea or water, which I just spilled earlier. So if everything that's in the cup, you drink it or you spill it, the cup is empty. So you need to do something to fill the cup again.
Absolutely,
and you go on a walk, you meditate, you dance, you do something that will put you back on the highway, right?
Yeah.
So you're back in your soul and you're connected to that creative energy.
Makes sense to me. Let me ask you that. I think this kind of leads one. I wrote two things down, and I think one leads to the other. First one I wrote down was, we hear about this thing called brain dumping, where you just, especially those of us who have ADHD. And I'll be honest, I have put off attempting to write, even though I love stories. I love telling them. And I know when it happens, it's going to happen in a big way. I mean, it's going to just pour out of me. So brain dumping, is that a thing? What does it represent? Then part two of the question is it a good idea or not? Or is it even possible to write? Do you do one book at a time? Or can you write two books at one time simultaneously? And what do you have to say about that? Go.
Okay, I'll start with the second question. I can definitely read 3 or 4 books at a time, but I've never written 2 books at the same time. I only do one, and I think it's, especially for fiction authors, I think you just focus on one project, because then
the whole world of that place going on. Yeah, it makes sense. But you can thank you for adding that other piece of it. I can read 4 books at a time, but only write 1 at a time. Think about that. If you're getting stuck or something, maybe it's because you're that person trying to do 2. Choose one world, finish it, then go to the next one. Great, great advice.
And again, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, it's good to have an outline, because speaking of writer's block, when you showed My Life on Tender earlier, when I started that trilogy, I had a very vague idea of what the book was going to be, the first book, and only the opening scene, and it was a struggle. So because I didn't have an outline, I have to, I think I went through 6 or 7 drafts until I got the final one. And with brain dumping, I don't do that. I journal. I prefer to journal. But I know that...
Is that really the same thing, just with another name, or no? Isn't it just like meaning get it out, put it somewhere?
I don't, the way I look at brain dumping is like, you just give your, you just let you come up with anything that your brain comes up in the moment, and which can unleash your creativity and bring out to the surface some ideas that could be brilliant, right? But with journaling, I see, to me, when I journal, I do it more like, I look at myself, or I look at the day, and I'm more like an aware consciousness.
Yeah, like you're the observer.
Yeah. And
Okay,
I'm looking for the lessons, or the growth, or where am I lying to myself?
It's more purposeful.
Yeah, it's more purposeful.
Brain dump is like turn on the spigot and walk away.
Yeah.
Like when you do flooding a fire hydrant.
Yeah.
You just turn it on and let it just purge.
Yeah.
Right, different. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That was actually very insightful. So let's go here. You have a lot of things available on your website.
On my author website. Yeah,
on your author website. How much of the from concept to book signing process do you feel or do you help people with? Where do people
everything.
What do they get when they come work with you?
Everything. So everything. I've helped people from the like the inception. So they have an idea for a book, and now I'm talking about nonfiction. Fiction authors, typically they know what they're going to do, but with nonfiction, you have an idea, and what do you do with it? So I can work with you from the very beginning to help you create the outline, and then help you with positioning in the market, and then help you with a marketing plan, and then with the book launch. The book launch and the book signing is just like a piece of that book marketing plan. Okay. And also the question is, what do you do about it? Because once the book is out there, excuse me, and you have you do the book launch, then you need to keep stay in the limelight somehow, and keep talking about your book, and keep bringing new readers to your book. So the process never ends. Actually, if you're really serious about it, it's a lifetime job, I would say.
Do you remember the first time you had a book signing?
Oh, I'm glad you asked me this question, because so my first book signing was actually in Romania for this very short story collection, of course, the Romanian edition. And that was a one of a kind book signing. No, I don't want to brag here, but I don't like to do things the way everybody does them. So I thought, why don't I give my readers an experience? So I took acting classes. I rewrote one of the short stories as a monologue, and I created a performance where I had live music. I had dancers on the stage to support the message of the book, and I have live projections. So I had about 200 people, and at the end, I did the book signing.
Wow!
And, I had
that's an immersive experience.
Yeah. That's all I was. So I had TV stations there. I had journalists.
Boy,
yeah.
Is that on YouTube where we can watch it?
Yeah. It's in Romanian, but it's
Right.
It's not the whole thing, but I had sponsors, and that's the another thing. If you're an author and
if somebody goes to YouTube, what would they type in?
A.G. Billig, just my name,
and then look for the performance.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I just want to say though that AG Billig is my author website. If you want to take a look at my services and how I can help you, that's self-publishing mastery. So I have different avenues to promote.
Okay, and what about the IG we see at the bottom?
The IG, that's my Instagram. That's where I post messages of love, because I'm a love, as you know, is a
Oh, there it is.
love is my message. Love is your superpower.
That is
Actually,
what we
that's
want to wrap the show with today.
Yeah.
So the last 5 minutes we have, I'd like you to dedicate to talk about that piece of your brand, if you would.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I mentioned earlier, love is a state of consciousness. Society teaches us that love is so many things that is not, that love is something that's transactional, conditional, and that's something we need to chase or to find, that people can give love to us and then take it away from us. But in reality, love is our nature, because God is love and we are a part of God, so we are love. So love is our nature. Love is available within ourselves in unlimited supply. And the thing is that we don't really need the love of somebody else to be happy, to be fulfilled, to be loved. We only do that when we forget who we are and we forget to open our hearts. So, as a state of consciousness, David R. Hawkins, the creator of the map of consciousness, explains how love is one of the highest vibrations we can experience on the planet. So it unlocks many doors for us. It unlocks the door of creativity. It unlocks the door of health. It unlocks the door of, expansion. And that's why I look at love as a superpower, because when we are in that state of consciousness, first of all, we are connected to God. And of course, we are empowered, right? There is nothing that we cannot be or do when we have this connection with God. You're muted. Okay.
I know, I just took it off. I just realized I was pouring some coffee. I didn't want people to think it sounded like I was peeing when you were on the screen by yourself. So I mean, right. So look, I want to say this to people, because also another great piece, and she wouldn't say it herself, but so I'll say it for all of us, is, not just watching people's mouths when they say I'm about this and I represent that and I support this and I endorse that. Look for the footprints. And so I just wanted to say, I'm alluding to the work we're going to do for the Power of We Symposium this year, coming up October 24th, 750 kids involved this year. And you generously got on a call with us and offered we have a standing essay contest every year, which is entitled How I Plan to Change the World. And these kids, their ideas are just remarkable. And the last time our essay winner in Atlanta, she ended up getting like a $250,000 endowment to make the idea in her essay come to life. So it's like just so powerful.
Yeah.
And then you had the idea to do what this
year? Here's my idea. I want to do a book. I mean, I think these essays deserve to be read by people all over the country, and why not all over the world? I think, give youth a voice.
Yeah.
Because they are the future, right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to create this essay anthology and the Power of We. So we have it here.
It's a legacy piece.
Yeah.
And something that can happen every year.
Yeah.
It gives a movement even more legs.
Yeah.
And that's divine work.
Yeah.
That's divine work. And that came from you. I would have never, it wasn't meant. So I just want to say, you guys, get over, and whatever it is about this world of books, get over and check her out. Read her work. And then if you or someone you know or love has that bug, has that book inside, and they want to get it out, and in a safe and trusting environment where the work will be everything it can be and more, have them get in touch with A.G. Billig. So I just want to thank you Awesome day today. You gave us so much insight. And thank you for everything we're going to do together and beyond for what we think, because I think there's even more. And hang around. We'll chat for a minute right after if you have a couple minutes. And then I just want to say to all of you out there, thank you so much. It's such an honor looking at you every day and witnessing all the wonderful things you're doing to ease suffering in this world. You inspire me, you uplift me, you encourage me. And so let's do that again tomorrow, shall we? Friday, tomorrow's guest, are you ready for this name? Nefertiti Medford Rasik is going to be here. And it's something about writing. She is a ghostwriter for people who are ready to get their memoirs out. And she's done it for some pretty big names. Wait until you find out who they are. That's tomorrow's episode, the Friday edition, right here. And God willing, I'll meet you over on the front porch at 8 a.m. Central for another illuminated conversation. In the meantime, get out there, find just a little piece. That's all it takes of your highest self. Add it to what you already are and just watch the magic unfold. Have a great day and be the blessing. I'll see you. Thank you. Great job, AG. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And remember, love is your superpower, okay?
Yay! See you guys. Get out of here. And I tell you all the time, I love you. Ain't a damn thing you can do about it. See ya.